Good evening, my darlings. I thought we'd start with some Shakespeare. We happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. Now this book, this story, was written in 1979, so it's 46 years ago. And we are introducing you all to The Long Walk by Richard Bachman, the darker half of Stephen King. Ooh, where to begin, my darlings? Well, this is quite the dystopian novel. 46 years ago, it's as relevant back then as it is today. You'd think it was the long read, looking at the thickness of this book, I can assure you. Actually, it's only that little section there. We've got 3 stories in here. We've got Road Work, Running Man, and The Long Walk, as you can tell by the little trainers that are on the front right there. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this book. 100 boys are picked from absolutely thousands upon thousands of young men across America. The stipulation is they have to be 18 years of age to be able to enter into the competition that is the Long Walk. These boys, they are so naive. They have absolutely no idea what is heading their way quick down and in a hurry. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And if you're not crying by the time you get to the end of this book, my darlings, you must have no soul. Because that's what this is. It's 100 young, cherubic young men just on the cusp of their 18th year, all entering the chance of a lifetime competition that's organised by the major and the establishment, the American government as it is now. Let me tell you a little bit about the major. The major is a see you next Tuesday type of guy. He really is. He's absolutely vile. And he set up the original Long Walk and has been running it ever since, every year ever since. He is what's left after a very vicious, bitter war that has economically destroyed America and plunged it into a desperate situation of, how shall I put it? A depression, but worse than a depression. It's an economic catastrophe on grand proportions. The entire country is completely destroyed financially. And all these young men, these thousands of young men, have all written an essay explaining why they should be picked to take part in the Long Walk. And that's the worst part about it. These boys know that they have no chance of a job, no chance of buying a house, no chance of getting married, and no chance of having a family unless they can afford it. And that's the worst part about this, is that they know that unless they enter this competition, there is no chance that they are going to experience any of the things that I've just listed. And they are absolutely desperate to win, because what is the ultimate prize? anything their hearts desire. Absolutely anything their hearts desire. I would have thought the ultimate prize in anything is life. Being allowed to live, being allowed to breathe air. But no, these boys have all been seduced by the golden carrot, which the Major dangles so tantalising in front of them. That's why he is what I described him as. I see you next Tuesday. If you got that, good on you. He certainly is one. Every year, as the Major sets and gets ready to talk to the boys and do the speech before they all take part in the long walk, he beguiles them with "You have been chosen by God to go on this pilgrimage, this adventure of a lifetime. You are doing your patriotic act, walking for the United States of America. God bless you all. America salutes you." And he stands there and says that to these naive young lads, these 100 naive young lads who soak it up like a sponge. It's awful. You're cringing inside because this Major doesn't mean a word of it. He doesn't care enough about any member of the 100 that are about to undertake the journey from hell. These boys haven't got a clue. Like I said, they're wet behind the ears, they're completely naive, they're young boys. And they're all starting to get to know each other, they're all a bit nervous and they're all nattering away and they're starting to form little groups. And the Major wishes them all well and says there can only be one winner. Off you pop. You know, ta-ta, thanks for calling. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. Oh my God, they are off. These boys, the trigger is fired by the Major and these boys they set off. They have 3 warnings. They're never supposed to drop below 4 miles per hour. Consistently keep the speed of 4 miles per hour. You get 3 warnings. On your 4th warning, that's it. You get awarded the DCM, which means don't come Monday. And these poor lads haven't got a clue. They have no clue that that is what's waiting for them. And they're off the trot, they're off, they're going for a walk. And then suddenly, one of them needs to take a toilet break. And he's like, oh, I'm just like, but he's not allowed to stop. He's just got to keep walking. And it's like, but I've got to go home. We're not allowed. You've got to keep walking. And that's how this book is. It's absolutely bloody relentless. So these boys learn PDQ. You got to sleepwalk, you got to pee walk, and you got to eat walk. Right? You ain't allowed to stop for nothing. Right? No, nada. You stop, you're not going to get going again. And they suddenly realise, with the horror of youth, that this isn't a game anymore. And these boys are absolutely terrified because they've suddenly realised, oh my gosh, I've got to win this. If I have to stay alive, I have to win this. And have you ever heard the saying, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun the person that's at the side of me? Well, that suits this book perfectly. It really, really does. Oh, my goodness me, the first boy to fall, the boys then realise it's just awful. It punches you in the gut because you feel like you're on this walk with them. And tears were welling up in my eyes. I mean, I read this as a teenager, right? And I've come back to it as a middle-aged woman. And as a teenager, I was horrified because of the fear that I would have felt had I been doing the walk. And the age that I am now, I'm looking at it as fear as a parent of, oh my goodness, if my child was in this walk. And it's a different dynamic, it's a different feeling, and both dynamics terrify me. I honestly would recommend that a teenager reads this and then come back to it when you're my years, and you'll have a different perspective of the characters that are in this book, I guarantee you, because that is what life does to you. You can only look at life after you've lived some of it. And when I was a teenager, just reading this, I was horrified for the youth, but as a parent reading it, I'm horrified for humanity, for the youth in this book and for the future of mankind. And that is what a few years in between reading the same book, and I have completely different feelings. I'm still horrified, but for different reasons. You see where I'm coming from? Horrified from a teenager's, mortifiedly horrified as a parent, and looking at society and these children and their children. The children being marched off to slaughter. Oh God, it's awful. There are some scenes in this book that after you read them, you'll want to bleach your eyeballs because it's just so rough. It's frighteningly awful. It's hauntingly beautifully written. Stephen King knows how to get under your skin and really, really upset you. And he will with The Long Walk. And there are some wonderful, likeable characters. Ray Garrity is adorable. He really, really is adorable. Barkovich is a little a-hole. He really is. There is another young man called Stebbins, and his death is just awful. Oh, Parker, Collie Parker, lovely little lad. You're going to start to pick out beautiful boys within this book that you're really, really going to sort of gel with in your mind. And I can't give you so many of the names. I don't want to, because I want you to read the book and enjoy it. I will give you a few. Scram. He was one of my favourites. Let me think. Where am I going to read you from? Scram is the lad that's married to a lovely girl called Kathy. He's married. He's the only one that is married. And he's really, really poorly. He's really poorly. And the boys all know that he's not going to make it. He got sick on the walk. And while he was walking. It just got worse and worse and worse. And he's dying, right? Everybody on the walk knows that he's dying. And he's calling to his wife as though she's there. And oh, if that doesn't get you in the feels, I don't know what will. It's absolutely heartbreaking. There are a lot of senseless deaths in this. I mean, of course they're all senseless. You've got the 100 boys, only one can win. And all around you is death, left and right, death. You're eyeball to eyeball with all the boys. Everybody is absolutely freaking terrified. They know they can't make it, but they want to make it because they've been promised the golden carrot by the Major. And it is absolutely brutal. And the worst part about it is people are stood on the sides of the road yelling these poor boys on to their doom. At what point in society did they not turn round and take a look at themselves and say, this, what you're doing is wrong? But unfortunately, America in this book is a fascist state. And you dare not and will not speak out against the government and against the Major. Otherwise, your child will be picked next year. So you don't say a damn word, right? And you just stand there like the mindless gibbons that you are and cheer these boys on. We believe in you. We know that you can make it. You're amazing. Keep going. One foot in front of the other gets you where you're going. That is the level of fear that these bystanders are feeling inside. As a parent, would I not stand there and yell the same if it meant saving my child's life? I put that to you. Would you stand there and scream and yell? It's almost as though somebody's got an invisible gun to the back of your head and they basically turned around and said, if you're not out on that street and you're not out yelling at these boys to keep going and thumbs up and all the rest of it, we're going to pull the trigger on you and your family. That is what's going on. It's so convoluted. It's a short story, it's a short read, but it's so convoluted with so many layers of brutality that is in this book, in this story. It's awful. And it puts the fear of God into you as a reader. I hope America never slips that far. I hope it never does. I just hope that this remains a story and that's all. I really do. Because all it takes is for one little idea to get out. Blimey. Don't go down that road. That's a dark path, fairy. Do not go down that path. So yeah, so now you have an idea about what's going on. So these 100 boys have all got this idea that they're going to do it. They're going to win. And suddenly when the dawn of reality starts to sink in and these boys suddenly realise that this ain't a game anymore, oh my goodness. Oh, it wrenches your heart. It's a sucker punch to the stomach. What these boys go through is nothing more than sheer hell. Death would be a release for many of them. Absolutely. I'm going to read you a little bit from the book because it's one of my favourite parts. It was Barkovich or Quince, Pearson said. I can't tell. One of them is still walking. It's... Barkovich laughed out into the darkness, a high gobbling sound, thin and terrifying. No horse. I haven't gone yet. his voice kept climbing and climbing. It was like a fire whistle gone insane, and Barkovich's hands suddenly went up like startled doves, taking flight, and Barkovich ripped out his own throat. "My Jesus!" Pearson wailed and threw up all over himself. They fled from him, fled and scattered ahead and behind, and Barkovich went on screaming and gobbling and clawing and walking, his feral face turned up at the sky, his mouth a twisted curve of darkness. Then the fire whistle sound began to fail, and Barkovich failed with it. He fell down, and they shot him, dead or alive. Garrity turned around and walked forward again. He was dimly grateful that he hadn't been warned. He saw a carbon copy of his horror on the faces of all about him. The Barkovich part of it was over, Garrity thought. It did not bode well for the rest of them, for their future, on this dark and bloody road. "I don't feel good," Pearson said. His voice was flat. He dry-retched and walked doubled over for a moment. "Oh, not so good. Oh, God, I don't feel. Oh, so good. Oh, McCreevy's." McCreevy's looked straight ahead. I think I wish I were insane," he thoughtfully said. Only Baker said nothing, and with that was odd, because Garrity suddenly got a whiff of Louisiana honeysuckle. He could hear the croak of the frogs in the bottoms. He could feel the sweaty lazy hum of cicadas digging into the tough cypress bark for their dreamless 17-year sleep. And he could see Baker's aunt rocking back and forth, her eyes dreamy and smiley and vacant, sitting on her porch and listening to the static and hum and far-away voices on an old Philco radio with a chipped and cracked mahogany cabinet, rocking and rocking and rocking, smiling sleepy like a cat that's been into the cream and is well satisfied. Isn't that beautiful writing? But that, my darlings, that's the film that you're going to go and see tomorrow. It's a brutal dystopian horror, a masterpiece written by Stephen King. You are in for a beautiful evening. And if you so wish, pick up the book. It was only written 46 years ago, so you've had plenty of time to pick a book up. If you're a teenager, I highly recommend you read it and then come back to it like I have done many years later. It's horrific. It's soul-destroying. It's what happens when things don't get sorted and things fall out. Disaster can only come when everything is left unchecked. I hope you've enjoyed it, my darlings. I've tried to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but there are a few spoilers in there, so I do apologise. It's a very difficult book to try and talk about and explain without getting into it, if you know what I mean. I hope you'll give it a go. I hope you'll see where I'm coming from with the fascism and the dystopian horror and the hell that these boys go through. And if you want to, you can give me a thumbs up. And if you really, really like what I do, you can always give me a subscription. And I'd like to thank you very much and give it a go. You've heard me talk about it thousands and thousands of times, I'm sure. I'm always talking about The Long Walk because it's a profound book that's had a big effect on my life. Take care, my darlings. Happy readings and enjoy. See you later.